Man, keeping strong and climbing is not easy. I want to talk about something today. While I lift my stack of weights, we tend to forget sometimes that efficient climbing is just as much physical as it is technical. I was reminded the other day when I was climbing with some of my friends at the gym, namely Mark and Melissa. So Melissa, if you're watching this video, you are the inspiration. And Mark, if you're watching this video, tell Melissa that she is the inspiration of this video. And let me tell you why. We were climbing this boulder problem and we kept playing around with some beta because she couldn't do this move. And she tried it, and we kept trying to find different ways of doing it. And eventually she says, I'm just not strong enough to do it. And she was correct. So it made me think, you guys know that I'm a big proponent of rock climbing with efficiency. And that means having really good climbing technique. But we must think just how much of that good climbing technique comes about from having the strength to actually do it. And so efficiency in climbing, I think, needs to be talked about in two main categories. One being technical proficiency, or technical efficiency, let's say, and the second one being physical efficiency, meaning how much strength can you allocate towards climbing movement through your body? How much strength do you have in your body that can be used towards climbing movement? That is very important to understand, I think, if we really want to improve the efficiency of our climbing. And that's why I spend so much time with strength training, forearm strength training, as well as strength training everywhere else, upper body, even legs. I work out my legs. I don't think I've talked about that very often, but I do actually. Especially specific exercises to get better at climbing, to get my legs strong enough to sustain the technique that I use in climbing. So let's talk about some examples. One comes to mind. Hold on, let me do this set first. I've gotten a little bit weaker at pulling this stack of weights. Right now this is 110. I'm trying to get to 130. But I haven't hit 130 in a while because I've been climbing too much. So I got weaker. This is 110. Guys, keep in mind, when I lift a stack of weights, I am not using my thumb to stop the rotation of this grip. It hovers, just like that. I could also keep my thumb to the side so it doesn't stop the rotation, but for me it always works to just let it hover. So I grip it close to my palm, let it hover. Then as the weight gets heavy, it starts to open my hand up and stops right there. And then I can go for a little bit longer. Then eventually, if I continue, it would just pop out of my hand. But I don't let it dry fire. There's no reason to do that. But let's go back to this discussion here. One good example is Southern Comfort, this 514A that I did last year. It starts off with this hard boulder problem, and then you end up on this really good rest spot. It's a big left knee bar. Now, what's significant about this is that I noticed from everyone that I've seen on this climb, some of my close friends, no one stays on this rest spot for as long as I do. And I can understand why, because the left foot, it's kind of serious. You have to put a lot of pressure through it. It's intensive in the core and intensive in the legs. And so to be efficient at using this rest area, you have to have a lot of strength in the body. And so that's what I mean by physical efficiency. When I get into this rest spot, I have my knee pad on my leg, and I actually turn my leg like this before I position it so that it really sticks. And I sit there for quite a while. I don't remember for how long, but I'm gonna go back to the video and time it. It felt like it was a long time. So I'm in that rest position until my legs are starting to burn. And that's the cue for me to get going. If my legs weren't strong enough, hamstrings weren't strong enough, my core was not strong enough, I couldn't stay there as long, which means that I would have to be stronger in the fingers, in the forearm. And these are my weak points. So because of that, we can't exactly say just have better technique to be more efficient at this climb. We also got to get stronger. And then further up on this climb, there are a lot of feet movements that I use as well, some foot jams. And on all of these feet movements and foot jams, I'm using the heck out of my hamstrings, just really pulling my hips in. At the top, right before the final crux, I get this very awkward and painful fist jam. And when I'm placing that in there, I'm actually using my extensor muscles to just torque in that pod. Again, that's physical efficiency. It's not easy to do, and it tires me out, but it tires me out in a different way. It tires out my extensors. It's tiring out my leg because my foot is jammed in there and I'm really pulling in with my hamstring. But it gives me a little bit of time to get some of that pump out of my forearms so that I can do that final hard boulder problem. Let's see, what's another good example? Actually, that reminds me of an indoor rock climb that has another really awkward rest position, but if you can get it, it does help a ton for the final boulder problem. But let me do this stack of weights first. I'm gonna go for 120. Now, I said before that I've been getting weaker because I've been climbing too much. I've said this to some people, and it's a bit confusing sometimes to them. But let me tell you guys, peak strength is always going to be higher when you're training and climbing less than the other way around. And so my goal is always to have a certain type of strength while I'm climbing a lot. And so far, I haven't really been able to do that. Like the stack of weights, I want to be able to lift 130 even when I'm climbing all the time. But I've been having trouble doing that. It always drops down to 125. So we'll see. We'll see if we can lift it today. Anyway, this is 120. Oh God, that's tough. Yeah, 120 was tough. I don't think I'm getting 130 today. If I can get 125, that'll be fine. It is third day on. I climbed for a couple of days in a row already. Man, if you are not genetically strong at something, God, it is so tough to build it and maintain it while you're committed to a sport at the same time. All right, so this gym example. I remember at the rock climbing gym, there was this pretty hard climb, like mid 513. And after some slopey moves, you get to this awkward hip intensive rest area. Or that's how I do the climb anyway. I haven't seen anyone else do this, and I think it's because it requires some strange hip flexibility and a lot of strength in the legs. The climbers tend to not really use that much. But anyway, I get in this rest area. I'm sunk in with my hips, and I am squeezing with my legs, with my inner thighs, until it burns. I change from right hand to left hand, and each time I do this, the way I'm using my legs has to shift slightly. Let me think. I'm not sure if I'm remembering this correctly, but maybe when I have my right hand, I gotta push really hard with my left toe against the wall. Then when I switch to the left hand, I gotta squeeze with my thighs a lot more. But it's important to think about this because if I didn't have this physical efficiency where I could sink in with my hips this way, use my heels in such a manner, if my inner thighs and hamstrings weren't strong enough, that I could not be technically efficient this way. Oh, and another thing, I'm also using my thumb grip on that. That's another thing. Because I'm able to use my thumb grip on these holds, and because I'm able to use my lower body in this rest position, I'm saving these four fingers, letting some of the pump alleviate so that I have the strength to do the final boulder problem. Funny thing, I don't think I ever did this climb actually. I kept falling off at the top anyway, but it doesn't matter. All right, let me try 125 and then we'll talk more about physical efficiency. All right, let's try 125. Barely. Barely. All right, so one more example. Let's talk about necessary evil. The hardest climb that I've ever tried and that completely demolished me. But it did teach me some things on my last trip out there. After getting brutalized for 3 weeks, I was finally able to do all the moves. And some of these moves were terribly difficult on terrible small holes. But what's important to understand is that in order to do some of these moves, it wasn't just about my fingers. My throat. It was about what my lower body was doing. Now you can't really tell on the videos, so I'm going to describe it for you. Like this move. There's this terrible move from the left hand pinch to the right hand shark tooth, the one that cut me really badly. In order to do this move, I had to really focus on squeezing with my legs. I had to think about what my left toe was doing, pulling really hard, trying to just pull the wall towards me with my left foot while pointing my toe. And then once I was able to move my right toe where it needed to be, then I had to squeeze really tight at the same time, trying to be very precise with the right hand. And I remember when I first stuck it, I was thinking about two main things. Aim correctly so that I hit the right hand correctly, but also squeeze the heck out of these holes with my feet. That's what maybe, well, obviously it's not evident on the video, but that's what I was thinking and that's what I was doing. I was squeezing the heck out of these footholds with my inner thighs, with my toes, getting my hips into the wall, and just keeping my core very tight. So think about it. If you don't have the strength in the legs to do these moves, then you have to be so much stronger in the fingers. And for someone like me where genetically I lack in that department, having physical efficiency in the rest of my body is extremely important. That means that if we really want to climb efficiently, we don't just train climbing technique. We don't just climb smarter. We also got to put in some gym time. Lift those heavy weights. Train all of your upper body. Train your legs. Train your flexibility. Physical efficiency is also about flexibility. Train all of those weird movements that might go through the legs that you don't usually think about. Pulling with the hamstrings, abduction, adduction with your thighs. Being able to point your toes, having strong toes to push against the rock, having strong toes so you can curl them in your climbing shoes and pull to keep your hips in. All right, let me try the stack of weights one more time. I'm gonna go for, I'm gonna add 3 more pounds. I'm gonna go for 128 this time. Let's see if I can do it. All right, 128. Dang it. Nope. Fail at 128. Oh well. That's okay. I'm not sure how clear I was in this video. I didn't feel like I did my best on this video, but I haven't really been getting that many views anyway, so the people that do watch this video and they care, they're not going to care so much that I wasn't at my best when it comes to speech making. But anyway, get out there, guys, climb your projects, do some strength training, be efficient, both technically and physically. Peace out, guys. Later.